Are you over-functioning in your relationship? Hey there, I'm Sharon Pope. I help women who are struggling in lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or be able to move forward without regret. If you like what you hear, I hope you'll subscribe. People decide to get married. It means they've chosen each other to spend the rest of their life together. But then, several years into the marriage, what started out as two people being inseparable now becomes incompatible. My name is Sharon Pope. I am a master life coach and a 7-time best-selling author on love and relationships. I help women who are struggling in their lonely and disconnected marriages get the confidence and clarity they need to either fix the struggles in their marriage or lovingly release it without regret. You can go to clarityformymarriage.com to explore if there's a fit for you and I to work together today. Today, we're talking about whether or not you're over-functioning in your relationship. Now, I want to share with you a story from one of my clients. We'll refer to her as Cheryl, although that is not her name. So it was 23 years ago that she brought her daughter home from being born. And the child was born 5 weeks prematurely, and Cheryl was suffering from postpartum depression. She was breastfeeding the baby every 2 hours, and of course, she wasn't sleeping. She was also still working. So every Saturday and Sunday, she was doing 2 12-hour shifts over the weekend. Now, her husband was working 5 days a week, and his hours were more like noon to 9 p.m. So when he got off work, he wasn't ready to go to bed. He wanted to wind down, so he would go out for cocktails with his coworkers after work at 9 p.m. as opposed to coming home and sort of settling in and helping care for the responsibility of this newborn baby that they both created. I can hear people literally around the world right now going, oh, hell no. There were times that he was like, I'm feeling kind of sick and I want to make sure I get a good night's sleep. So I'm going to go sleep in the spare room. Now, this was 23 years ago. But the reason it feels so fresh for her is because it's the first time that she can recall where she began to overfunction in the relationship. When they got together, it wasn't like that. It was only once they started having kids and having to negotiate sort of like who's going to do what, that she just did what came naturally, what she felt needed to be done. And it just felt easier than arguing with him or trying to get him to do something that he clearly didn't want to do. And so, as you can imagine, over the course of then having another child and having multiple careers and building a family and building a home and all of those things that happen, this pattern of behavior didn't get better. She continued to overfunction in the relationship. And by not speaking up about that, she made it okay for him to underfunction. And so her taking on that silent approach, that didn't make anything go away. The resentments just continued to mount over the course of the next 23 years to the point where now their marriage is really on the brink of ending. So some people might overfunction because they have control issues, right? They want it done their way, but then they're going to complain that they have to do everything. That wasn't the case with Cheryl. It wasn't about control. She would love for him to jump in anywhere and do anything beyond what he was doing. He just never offered. And like I said, she just felt like, you know what, if she did it, she knew it would get done. And it was just easier. And it was a way to keep the peace during a time that they were building and growing a family, right? So one of the things that I want you to think about, overfunctioners, or people that are willing to overfunction in a relationship, I should say it like that as opposed to a label. If you're willing to overfunction in the relationship, you will very often find someone who's willing to underfunction in the relationship. It's like two puzzle pieces that they just go right together, click. Because in our relationships, we create a cadence, sort of like how we're going to function between the two of us. And so when you're willing to overfunction, your partner sometimes, I don't think that it's vindictive. I don't think that it's always conscious. It's just like, yeah, she's got this. No problem. And it's just easier for me to not engage and not put myself in the middle of it. But then that leads to a pattern of behavior that starts to look like a lot of under-functioning. So I told you that now Cheryl's marriage is very close to the end. And I can understand why she's got so much resentment built up over the years. Her husband does not understand it because he's like, look, I'm doing things now. Like I empty the dishwasher every day. I take the dog for a walk. And at this point, she's just like, do you want a gold star? Really? That's what you're going to point to? See, the doing, the functioning in your life could have prevented it ever getting to this place. But now that we've done that for 23 years, I'm sorry, but taking out the trash is not going to undo 2 decades of a body of work of where you feel like you don't have a partner, and it requires more of you, more mental energy, more physical doing and functioning inside the relationship, and feeling kind of all alone in that. So he's like, that was so long ago. Why are you still bringing it up? The problem is that when we don't express our feelings and we just shut it down in order to keep the peace, sometimes I think we think we're doing a good thing because we're trying to keep the peace. The problem is those feelings don't go away. They fester like a cancer, and they just get worse and worse and worse. And then what's more is that then I start to believe, I can't trust you. I can't trust that you're going to have my back, and I don't respect you. And that, my friends, is a very difficult thing to come back from. So I want you to ask yourself the question, where in my relationship am I either over-functioning or under-functioning? And then choose differently. All right. I hope that that was helpful for you. I would love for you to go to 3thingstoKnow.com. That's the number 3thingstoKnow.com. From there, you can download my free ebook. It's called 3 Things Women Want Men to Know, for men and the women who love them, because I tend to be a voice for women, saying the things that women often want to say, but don't know how to say. And I hope to give you some of those words through that ebook. If you like what you hear on this channel, I hope you'll subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified every time we post a new video, at the end of this video in the upper left corner, you'll be able to click that button for the notifications. Until next time, take really good care.